Playoff? Did Hugh Freeze say playoff? Coaches say the darndest things at SEC Media Days. Welcome, everyone. I'm Kevin Scarbinsky. This is an SEC Media Days edition of ScarboKnows. And yes, the Auburn football coach, heading into his third season on the Plains, after compiling an 11-14 record the last 2 years, took the podium in the main media room in Atlanta and mentioned the word playoff in regards to this Auburn football team in 2025. Now, to be fair to Hugh Freeze, he did not predict that Auburn would make the playoff. He didn't make any guarantees. He didn't go Joe Namath. He did, however, use his team and playoff in the same sentence. This is exactly what he said.
I truly believe that in the playoff run, we're going to be in this discussion because I love this team.
That would require a giant leap forward for the Auburn football program after what we saw the last 2 years. And as I mentioned, they were 11-14 in their first 2 years under Hugh Freeze. More concerning, if you dive deeper inside the numbers, they were 6-13 against the Power Four. Let me repeat. The last 2 seasons under Hugh Freeze, Auburn was 6-13 against Power Four opponents. Now, that is not the kind of record that inspires confidence that you are on the cusp of a playoff run. To be in the playoff discussion, what is it going to require? It's probably going to require that you be ranked in November. Auburn has not been ranked at any point in any season since 2021, the first year under Brian Harsin before things completely imploded for that program. So the first thing Auburn has got to do is get ranked. The next thing Auburn has to do to make a playoff run this year would be to win a close game or two. To be fair, over the last 2 years, Auburn put itself in position to win a lot more games than it actually won. Look at this record in close games. If you take games decided by 10 points or fewer, touchdown and a field goal, Auburn went 2-8 the last 2 years. Now, if you're going to make a playoff run, you're going to have to find a way to win games in the fourth quarter. And so far, in 2 years under Hugh Freeze, the Tigers have not been able to do that. You want to confine it to one-score games, 7 points or less. Auburn is 2-6 in those spots in 2 years under Freeze. So again, somebody is going to have to step up and make a play. Somebody's going to have to step up on the sideline and make the right call. How confident are you that Hugh Freeze, in his third year back in the SEC, will have regained or recaptured some of his magic as a play caller? We'll see. We'll see pretty early since Auburn opens against Baylor. We'll see pretty early because Jackson Arnold will be challenged in that first game by one of the better defensive minds in the country, Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. The Bears weren't very good on defense last year. They were pretty good on offense, though. I've already seen one prediction that has Baylor winning something along the lines of 49-35. I will buy you a donut if Baylor hangs 49 points on DJ Durkin's Auburn defense. Don't see that happening. Just as I don't see Auburn getting in the playoff discussion when it matters, let alone making the playoff itself. It would be an upset. Since the 4-team playoff began back in 2014, we have had 52 teams, not 52 programs, because many of these programs, Alabama and Clemson leading the way, were in a lot of different playoffs in these last 11 years. But since the playoffs started, the 4-team playoff in 2014, and of course they went to 12 teams last year, 52 different teams over that time have made it into the playoff. Do you know how many of them had a losing season the year before? I'll make it easy for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4 teams bounced back from a losing season to make the playoff the next year. Michigan did it in 2021, but you should put an asterisk by that because the Wolverines went 2-4 in the COVID-shortened 2020 season, a season the Big Ten didn't even want to play. So we will definitely hang an asterisk by that one. But they did go from a losing record to a playoff season the next year. And then TCU in 2022, they came off a 5-7 record the year before. Not only did they make the playoff, they made it all the way to the national championship game where they got undressed and embarrassed by Georgia. And then last year, of course, there are going to be more opportunities with a 12-team playoff for a team to make a quick turnaround. And 2 teams did that last year, Arizona State and Indiana. Each of those teams went 3-9 in 2023. And then Kenny Dillingham, in his second year in Tempe, turned things around with the Sun Devils. They got to the playoff last year, won the Big 12, shocking a lot of people, especially the Big 12 coaches who predicted they would finish last in the league at their media days a year ago, which is why the Big 12 at its media days last week declined to have a coaches preseason poll. They didn't want to put any of their teams behind the 8 ball because perception is everything when it comes to polls. And Arizona State started well off the pace last year, but they were able to win an automatic bid by winning the Big 12. And then Indiana, under Curt Cignetti, employing the path of least resistance with its non-conference schedule, put together a heck of a turnaround last year. They went from 3-9 to 11-2 overall, and they also made the playoff where they were quickly excused by Notre Dame. But all in all, kudos to the Hoosiers and Curt Cignetti. He learned a few things when he worked for Nick Saban. So that's it. That's the entire list. 52 playoff teams since 2014. Only 4 of them had a losing record the year before. So the odds are against Auburn, but I'm saying there's a chance. And if you listened to Hugh Freeze at SEC Media Days, you heard, or at least I heard, a more energetic, a more confident, a more in-command head coach than I had heard from Auburn in some time. Maybe it's all the golf that Hugh Freeze has played that has recharged his batteries. But he did not pour mouth. He did not suggest he needed more time. He said he loves his team. He loves his roster. They're bigger. They're stronger. They're faster. Their culture is strong. Their chemistry and carryover in coaching was there or is there. And most of the locker room is bought in. I don't know if anyone else caught that. He didn't say the locker room is bought in. He didn't say the entire locker room is bought in. He said most of the locker room is bought in. I guess that's the best you can hope for realistically in any football program. It's not just the quantity of the guys who believe in you as a head coach and what you're doing, but it's the quality. And if it's guys like Jackson Arnold, the new quarterback, if it's guys like Keldrick Falk, the elite edge rusher, if it's guys like Connor Lew, the rocket center, then you've got a fighting chance. So this was a confident, not cocky, not in the least, but very confident Hugh Freeze, a very confident Auburn contingent that showed up in Atlanta. Is that a good strategy to raise the bar verbally before the season begins? Or would you be better off, if you were Hugh Freeze, tempering expectations a bit? What does the Auburn fan base think? Is this going to raise their expectations for what is possible for this Auburn football team? We shall see. But yes, in perhaps the most interesting comment of the first 2 days of SEC Media Days, made by or about a coach who is currently employed in the league, the Auburn football coach, the coach of the program that has had 4 straight losing seasons, the last 2 under his guidance, mentioned the word playoff. And I'm telling you, I'm saying, as Jim Carrey did in Dumb and Dumber, I'm saying there's a chance. It was Jim Carrey, wasn't the other guy? I didn't really watch that movie. I just seen the memes. But there is a chance. It's a slight chance. It's a slim chance. I wouldn't bet the house or any portion of the contents therein on it. But hey, you want your head coach to be confident, right? You want your quarterback to be confident. Jackson Arnold and Hugh Freeze were. We'll see if they can make good on that promise, because Hugh Freeze, by suggesting, by saying outright that he truly believes, doesn't just believe, he truly believes that in this playoff run, Auburn is going to be in the discussion. That's a pretty big check he just wrote. We'll see if his third Auburn team can cash it. All right, that's it for today. For me, Kevin Scarbinsky, for ScarboKnows. Check out all the great podcasts on the SEC Sidelines Network. Rob Brown, Buddy Martin, et cetera, along with me. Until next time, I'm Kevin Scarbinsky. See ya.